Today we're talking mobile photography. More specifically, I'm going to show you how you can edit your photos from your phone to go from something like this to something like this. This is kind of like a two-part series all about mobile photography. So last week I shared a video all about how I shot the photo that I'm gonna edit today. So if you haven't watched that already, go watch that first, because it will just give you some more context. It was wet, but it was fun. In that video I also explained how you can shoot in RAW on your phone, which is vital if you want to like take control in the editing part and really take it to the next level. So definitely go watch that first. So a little bit of a disclaimer, I am just a self-taught artist and I haven't been like taught how to use Photoshop or anything, so I have really no idea if I'm doing these things right. I'm just doing what works for me and what has worked for me in the past. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Please, if you think that I'm doing something very wrong and I could do something differently that would make it a lot easier or something, please let me know in the comments below. I'm learning all the time, so I would love to hear your thoughts. So yeah, but let's get into the video. So the first thing I did was just to open up the photo in Camera Raw to make some minor adjustments, because as you can see I shot the photo in kind of some harsh light and we don't want it to be that harsh, so I'm just pulling up the shadows and then pulling down, yeah, the highlights a little bit to make it a little softer. Then I'm doing a little bit of a tone curve just to put a little more contrast back into the photo again. Then I'm just playing around a little bit with the colors just to see kind of like where I'm going and what I think looks good. But for now I'm just gonna open the photo up in Photoshop and then do all the color stuff in there first. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm just masking out my shirt to change the color of that to match my pants. See, that already makes a huge difference. Then I'm pretty much doing the same thing with the grass part, just masking it out and changing it to a little bit more of a red color. And then we have the blue sky. So we actually have the three primary colors, which I just think gives the photo a bit fun and a fresh look. I really like that. I really did try to place myself I really did try to place myself right in the middle of the frame when I shot it, because I knew that I didn't want to have to crop it too much, because the quality is already worse when you're shooting on a phone. But I didn't succeed too well. So here I'm just cropping it in to center myself a little bit more. Here I'm just removing some flyaway hairs because I thought it looked a little bit distracting. Next I'm going to pexels.com, which is just a website where you can get free stock photos, to find a sky that I'm gonna place over my head. So I think I really like this one, so I'm gonna take that and place it into Photoshop. Okay, so this is actually a very important step. Notice how this shadow on the cloud is in the right side of the frame and the shadow on my body is in the left side of the frame. That wouldn't really make sense in real life, so I'm just taking the cloud and flipping it horizontally, and then the shadows actually match pretty well. It's these kind of minor things that really makes it look real and takes your photo to the next level. Here I'm just spending way too much time trying to figure out how to blend that cloud into the sky, and I don't think I did it the right way, so I'm not gonna explain you how I did it. The important thing is just that it worked, I guess. Yeah, but go find a tutorial on that somewhere else if you're gonna recreate this photo. See, right now it just looks like there's a cloud somewhere in the distance on the sky, but we actually want it to look like it's right over her head. And naturally, if you had a sky over your head would be in shadow. So I'm just creating some small shadows on top of her head and on her shoulders as well, and a little bit of a shadow on the ground too. I also want the cloud to be raining, so I once again went over to pexels.com to find a stock photo of some rain. And this was actually a lot harder to find, but I ended up with this one. And I actually used the photo 3 times on top of each other to cover the whole area that I wanted to cover. And then I used the blending mode Lighten to make it blend into the photo. and I think that worked pretty well. Then I'm putting all the layers of rain into one single group and creating a layer mask on top of that, and then selecting the brush tool and turning down the opacity a bit, and then brushing away some of the rain over my body just to make it look like I'm standing in the middle of the rain rather than behind the rain, if that makes sense. I'm making the area with the rain, just except for my body, a little bit darker just because I think it's more realistic that it's darker when it's raining. And also because I think it creates a bigger contrast between the rain part of the image and the rest of the image, and I like that a lot. Important step alert! I'm creating a mask around my face and then choosing a curve layer, and as you can see I'm just making my face a little bit lighter but also adding some contrast, and this really makes the face pop and makes the face like the focal point of the photo, the thing that your eye gets pulled towards, so the viewer kind of knows what to look at, you know? So very important step. So the final step, which is something I do for all my composites, is I put all the layers into one single group, duplicate that group and merge all the layers together. The reason that I duplicate it is because I don't want to lose all the information, because when you merge layers you do lose the information, but I still have the choice to go back now. And then I just put a camera raw filter on top and I do the final color editing and stuff like that in there. I'm starting off with playing a lot with the hues of the reds and the oranges to kind of see what color I want the grass to be. Do I want the yellow more green or more orange? This is pretty good, I think. Trying to figure out which colors I want to stand out the most by adjusting the saturations, and pretty much just going back and forth until I like it. Then I'm just quickly putting some reds in the shadows, and this is actually something I do for most of my images just because I really like the way that it looks. Then I'm going to the calibration section, if that is what it's called, and I feel like there's always one of these three colors that really does change the photo and just makes a huge difference. And for this photo it's definitely the blue primary. And I'm just changing the green primary a bit and changing the red primary a bit. Then I'm going back into the HSL's adjustments and just adjusting the yellows a little bit because I don't want it that bright, just a little bit more desaturated. I think I like this a lot. Finally, just adding a little bit more contrast, just a teeny tiny bit, because I really don't want it to be too much, because there's already like a lot going on in the photo and I want it to look very soft. So just a little bit, a little bit. Yeah, and boom! There you have it. So can you shoot conceptual photography with your phone? Hell yeah, you can! I'd say that if you actually do spend this much time creating your image and making composites and all that, you can't really see that it's taken with an iPhone. And if you are just considering getting into this whole thing, go ahead and just use your iPhone, because you don't have to go out and spend a lot of money on a big expensive camera. The mobile really does a genius job of being able to sneak into those special moments, and I think that is very important. But most importantly, you can also make art with it. So there's no excuse, just go out and create. Yeah, and I think that was it. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please comment down below, just something, it would just help me a lot. And like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the little bell. And until next time, bye.